Whoa, the door just blew open. Nearly got you, Harrison. Oh, it is a windy. Oh, that's not a great. That's not great. Look at my hair. Now I'm gonna have to go and do my hair again. Did my hair just for you. Just kidding. It is a windy, horrible day out there. It's mid-arvo and the sun's only just started to poke its head out. So yeah, we've been tucked inside this morning doing schoolwork and working on the laptops for a bit. Played a board game with the lads, but what are you doing now, lads? This is one of the lads' favourite things lately when they're playing inside is Lego, which is pros and cons. It keeps them busy for a long time and it's got a lot of playability, but it, as you can tell by the way I'm walking, it does mean we've got to, it does mean we have to step over it.
I'll hold that for you.
Thanks, before I trip over Lego. There's a bit of stuff on the floor. But hang on, I was going to put you on camera. You've taken the camera and I was going to put you on camera. Hang on.
I was just going to hide the dishes in the dirty dishes cupboard.
Oh, yeah, this is our new little thing. We should show you this. So we hide the dishes, because obviously we don't have a dishwasher anymore.
I'm trying to make one. I'm trying to make my own dishwasher.
So we bought this. Oh, try and get it out. We bought this tub from Kmart.
I'll grab it out. You'll hurt yourself.
Kmart special, this one. It's like a double tub. So it's like a plastic tub that has another tub that lifts out of it, which has drain holes in the bottom. It's kind of like a sink that goes in the sink. It fits in this sink perfectly, but it also fits in the outside sink, and it also goes in this pass-through cupboard here, so we can access it from inside or outside. It hides the dirty dishes, and when we travel, it lives in the sink, and that's the spot the coffee machine goes. So it's a bit of a shuffle, but it works well.
And it's something we bought because this is not our van. This one's a loan. We wanted to protect the sink in this from rubs and marks and scratches, so that whoever buys it still has a nice looking sink. That was what we initially purchased it for, and then we were like, ooh, this is perfect for dishes in and out. It utilises that pass through.
The other main reason I bought it, because you've got to admit, you were sceptical.
I know, I'm like...
Even though it costs, I think, $7.50, Liz was sceptical. She's like, I'm never going to use it. But what else it's handy for is because all the dishes live in it, whether we're doing dishes inside or outside, we can just carry the whole lot in or out. So you're not ferrying dishes too much. And when we do the dishes outside, we can reach the dirty dishes from out there, and then we just put it back in here with clean dishes in it, and then we can access them from in here. It works really well. And Liz is a convert, even though she may not admit it freely.
It's good, but it's still not as good as a dishwasher. We're still trying to work out how to get a dishwasher in this van, and I've got an idea, but it would mean completely redesigning and re-engineering the entire van, so it's probably not going to happen, to be honest.
Because in other news, we've finally come to a decision, which may not surprise a lot of you, that we are going to buy one of these. We've decided we're going to buy a HS2.
Yes.
In a hard top.
Yes.
In the 19-foot length.
Yes. Simon wanted to go smaller, and I vetoed smaller.
I did consider the 17-foot for a little bit, but I think living full time the way we do, this is small enough. I'm loving towing it. I'm loving the smaller size for towing. We're loving being back in a composite van. There's a lot we're really loving. We'll make a fair few changes from this one, a lot more solar for one. We'll talk more about that, what we're changing, what we're not.
And what we're considering, because we're considering going 24 volt as well, but we're going to do some more research.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things we're thinking about at the moment that we're going to take you guys along as we make those decisions. But we've got a couple more months, about 2 months left of the shakedown with this van, which will be fun. But we're sort of deep in the selections now of trying to figure out what we're going to change and what we're not as far as, between this van and what we'll spec for ours. But a really, really awesome opportunity to be able to do this. Like, I think we've learned a lot about what we want and don't want from going back to sort of more of an entry-level spec van, I suppose. It's not an entry-level van price point-wise, but it's a very much an entry-level van as far as, like... It's just
what you need for a lap.
Yeah, and it's just the stock van. Yes. It comes pretty highly spec'd in some aspects. Like, the power system's probably a little bit lacking in the solar department, but that's an easy and a cheap upgrade. But I mean, it comes with 330 litres of water standard. So there's a few things like that we're not going to have to change. We're not going to have to add a whole lot. It's not going to be, it still won't be perfect. It still won't be exactly the perfect van, but we still, from having had this one and looking at what else is available on the market in this sort of size and style of van.
And weight range.
Weights and everything. And we obviously already know and trust titanium as far as build quality, everything goes. I think it's the best option for us on the market at the moment for what we want. So
yeah, We've done a lot of research. It's just...
Yeah, a lot. So
We're so fussy.
There will be some changes, improvements we make, and some things that will change to suit us better. There's some things that we just can't change that we'll talk about as well.
A lot of the thought behind this van, borrowing it, was our last van had a huge power system with a huge... Like, we were basically a portable power station on the beach. And we wanted to cut the weight down, and there's a lot of weight in that power system. And we were like, oh, our first van was only 400 amps and 720 is solar. We should be able to do that again. Like, you know, let's just dial it back to basics. But the way we've travelled has changed in the sense that in our first year, we were pretty much doing a hot lap. We did 3/4 of a lap of Australia in our first year, followed the sun, and we're getting a lot of charge from the alternator. So that would then help us with our regen. Whereas now, we're full-time traveling family. We often, like, I know it might not look like it on YouTube, but we'll often get to a spot, and if it's good, we'll stay there for a week or two and not move. And that means that we're not getting that alternator charge back into those batteries. So we need to have enough solar on the roof to be able to live in an electric off-grid system indefinitely. And in that time too, our kids are now at school full time. So we have 2 kids attending online Zoom classes. So pretty much from 8 till 11 a.m. every morning is Starlink on, laptops running, and that's just them. That's not the YouTube. That's not everything else as well, which has all exploded. So our power needs have just gone through the roof.
So power will be a big one. Well, I'll talk more about the outside stuff when the weather improves and we can get outside. I'll film that separately. But internally, there's not a lot we can change layout-wise. The way that these vans, like a lot of hybrids, are built is that the aluminium cabinetry and everything it limits your flexibility in your customization a lot. So but this layout works, and there's not a lot we would change even if we could, except we'd probably go to an east-west bed. I think east-west beds and combined ensuite shower toilets probably divide the caravan community as much as anything. We filmed a few weeks ago. We filmed our thoughts on the ensuite, the combined shower toilet ensuite. So I'll cut to that in a minute. But as far as beds go, we're big east-west beds fan. Because we don't think the compromise of the day-to-day climbing over each other and making the bed is as significant as the compromise of less space. Like in the same length body of van, 19-foot van, if I made that bed east-west, we'd free up nearly 2 foot or 500 mil of space.
Yeah.
And we think that space could be better utilised than in a north-south bed. But, a lot of vans only come in north-south, this being one of them. So we'll live with the north-south. The pro is we get a lot more outside storage. If we went east-west, we'd lose a lot of outside storage. So, like everything, it's all a compromise, it's all a balance. But let's take you back a couple of weeks and share with you our thoughts on the old not east-west, and share with you our thoughts on the old combo shower toilet.
Yeah.
We've had a full separate shower toilet in the previous couple of vans, but one thing I really wanted in particular is I was adamant I wanted the bathroom at the back with the door at the back. So this entry at the back end of the van straight into where the bathroom is, mainly with the kids, but to be honest, even with us, just when you're camping in places where you're sandy or you're muddy or you're dirty or whatever, to be able to come straight in and rinse your feet off, or just to use the toilet or whatever it is you need in the bathroom without walking through the whole van like we've had to in the previous couple of vans we've had, was something I was really keen to try out. So this is something I was excited about, was having the bathroom at the back.
So I personally think it is an excellent use of space. When we were in our 19-foot caravan standard width, and Simon and I were having the discussion about going smaller, I was like, where could we cut space out of our current caravan and it still be functional? And when you think about it, the separate shower is roughly a square metre of floor space that you use for 30 seconds a day. So the biggest pro is that the shower space in here is actually quite big. You've got the sink in here, everything's contained, and it's all, like, you can just rinse the whole thing down with the shower hose. It's great, and I love that. The downsides are that the toilet paper has to be put away, so you have to have a storage spot for the toilet paper to put it away, which we just use the overhead cupboard in here to just tuck it up when you're having a shower so it doesn't get wet. And the other downside is that once the floor's wet, if the kids then come in and need to do a wee or something, they leave wet footprints everywhere. So those are the two compromises, but I actually think this is a very good use of space.
As far as combo shower toilets we've seen,
Yeah, this is
up there with one of the better designs we've seen.
Yeah,
So a few things I like.
What do you like?
So I really like this floor. So this is like a slatted floor, the drain's underneath. So the floor dries much quicker like that. You don't end up with the water hanging around as much. There is so much storage in this thing. So there's this huge overhead cupboard here, which as you can see, we've got heaps of stuff. And then in here, there's a massive cupboard underneath as well, where we keep all our toothbrushes and all this sort of stuff so it doesn't get wet when we have a shower. And then there's actually another utility cupboard here, which I don't think you're really meant to use for storage, but we keep our vacuum and fly swatter and a few random things in there.
Yeah, so something that we're testing out in this bathroom that's different for us as well is we've got a new toilet in this one. So it's not a cassette toilet, and it's not a composting toilet either. So this is called the Tiny Separate, and firstly, I love that it's not made of white porous kind of plastic that is really hard to clean. This one is really easy to clean, which is a big bonus. It still separates number ones from number twos, and it's a bagged system. So we're going to give this a test over the next couple of months. I don't really like talking about toilets, but I know lots of you are really interested in it. My overall first impressions are it's good. Simon, what do you think of it?
Yeah, it's definitely quite a different. So far, I mean, we've only had it a little while, but so far, first impressions, I think it's as good, if not better, than a compost one. It's definitely easier to empty than a compost one. You do have to empty it more frequently than a compost one. It does have to go into a bin rather than the compost one. We could bury it, so there's, I guess, a con there, but I mean, I think overall it's definitely an easier toilet to use day to day, and especially when it comes time to empty it. But I think this could be a good compromise between the convenience of a cassette style and the longevity between empties for a compost one. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out, and we'll report back, because I know a lot of you are interested. There's something about caravanning that it's inevitable that conversations end up to going back to toilets.
Always. Everyone always wants to know about the toilet, and I'm always like, I'm not talking about the toilet. Liz doesn't want to talk about it. And then it's like, I'll happily tell you if you come visit our campsite, happily talk to you about toilets. But there's just something about having it on the internet that's just so different.
So I think to wrap all this up, I think overall, it's so far the combo shower toilet and this toilet setup is better than we're expecting. We were concerned, like most people are, how would you go with a combo toilet? You hear a lot of negativity about shower toilet combos. So far, we haven't experienced any of that. Yes, there's a few downsides, but I think so far the pros outweigh the downsides. But yeah, we'll keep you posted as we go along.
So one other compromise is our previous van with the bathroom being right at the back. I only had to shut James's blind, and you couldn't see anywhere down the back of the van, and we used to have our wardrobe down there. Now we're back to the Rudy Nudie dance, where we have to sort of close everything to get to your clothes, or you have to bring them down here and make sure the door's shut. So yeah, we're back to that. That's okay. But it is a compromise.
I think you should do your Rudy Nudie dance.
Yeah, my Rudy Nudie dance.
Put that on the internet instead.
No thanks.
So there you go. A little bit controversial. We actually prefer the old combo shower toilet.
It's a great use of space.
Again, like the east-west bed to north-south bed, a thing again. I think the compromise of the functionality, we just don't think that having a lot of space in the bathroom isn't a priority for us. We'd rather a more compact bathroom and more space elsewhere in the van. And we actually think functionally day to day, in some ways, in a lot of ways actually, I reckon this bathroom works better.
It does for everything except the kids getting dressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big thing we've lost, and that's partly because of the whole layout and the entry being at the rear of the van, is it just changes the layout, and we've lost that sort of space near the bunks at the back of the van we had in the old one. So let's just quickly go through, because we also just realised we haven't really shown you guys the inside of this van in any videos yet. So I'm going to spin the camera in and I'll take you on a really, really quick walkthrough. It won't take very long. So where Harrison is sitting just there, so that's the main door coming in. You would have seen in our previous videos, this is where the fridge is. So we've got the light's terrible, we've got a small upright fridge here. I think that's about 150 litre, something like that. And then our wicked double-sized, double-height pantry. That's the bathroom door just there that you would have just seen. I just stepped on James. Sorry, James. Lads' bunks are at the back corner there. And then I'm going to spin around while Liz is helping James to just
separate the Lego.
Separate his Lego. So then we've got this cool, I actually really like this about this van, is this cool like half club, half cafe style sort of setup. It's got the same table leg as we put in our other van that we had, the swing away Lagoon I think is the brand, style swing away thing.
And then this bit here is recessed back, so it's really nice for the kids to sit in this space here.
It's kind of like a half seat, isn't it? It's like a little, reminds me like a little dicky seat in the middle seat of a ute, like when you had the old Hilux ute, and you got the little dicky seat near the gear stick. But it's perfect for the kids.
Much nicer.
Much nicer, yeah. But it works really well for the kids, especially when they're sitting up to eat and sitting up to do schoolwork and stuff. It just gives them a really good spot, and it means we can fit the four of us comfortably around this table, even more so than in our previous van with the L shape. So I really like that, and it gives us two really good comfortable seats as well.
This one's got the microwave in it. We will be deleting that. We've probably used it 3 times.
Yeah, so we won't have microwave, so we'll get that space back. And there's also a range hood up there.
Yeah.
We're going to get rid of that too.
Yeah.
We don't think they're worth it.
Just for the storage you lose in there.
And they're just not that effective anyway.
They're not. You open the window, turn the Siroccos on.
Yep. The other thing that's in that cupboard is the TV antenna access. We're going to delete the TV antenna like we did on the last van to get more solar up, but we are going to keep the TV.
I know.
Now we've had it, it's one of those things you can't get rid of.
I know. So we've never had a TV in bed before, and it's kind of like when you go to a hotel. So like Simon always says, he jumps into bed and he watches TV, watches YouTube, and he's like, it's like being in a hotel in here. Your own little TV.
Yep. So I'm convert for the TV. In here as well is where the Victron displays for the power system in this van. I really like that. That's super handy. And then obviously you've got our speakers here. I really like these little sort of 45-degree things that they do. It just gives you, it obviously lets them run services up and down because there's no services in the walls, being a full sandwich composite panel van. Really neat way of doing that, and gives good service accessibility if you ever wanted to add things, change things, or had problems with things. This one's got the Truma D6 combi. Hot water and heating. I think it comes standard with Webasto. So I haven't made a decision on that, but we might just try it the Webasto because I think the Truma is an upgrade. It comes standard with the Webasto diesel heater and hot water, so we might give that one a try. But yeah, jury's out on that one. As well, this roof hatch is the standard one. We're going to go to a smaller one just because it allows us to squeeze more solar up on the roof as well. At the moment, I think we're going to look at around 1400 to 1600 watts, something like that. We're going to be able to fit on the roof if my tape measure is correct, and the guys can do what I think they're going to be able to do. We'll remove DRS as well, the dust reduction system. We'll get rid of that. I don't think you need it. And
in a van that's built well.
Yeah, in a good quality van, and again frees up roof space, so that's handy. For more solar.
What about your thoughts on the aircon versus underbunk aircon? So this comes with the Dometic something.
I don't know what it is. Dometic rooftop aircon. So yeah, look, big one, I guess, from our previous van is we did air conditioning under bunk. That worked really well in the old van. It was a nightmare to install. I would not recommend doing that aftermarket if the manufacturer can't do it at time of construction, just because you got to run all the ducting and everything. It was a really big job to install that. I think for this one, because we can fit, if I'm correct in that we can fit 14 to 1600 watts somewhere in that vicinity and retain the aircon on the roof, I think we'll leave it up there, primarily just because of the layout of this van. Putting it anywhere else and trying to duct it and everything, I think would be not worth it, put it that way, as far as the headache goes. I think this is, downside to the rooftop is the weight's up high, it's heavier overall, and it's noisier. The big pro to the under bunk one was it's really quiet. I think its cooling efficiency is very similar, particularly in a small van like this, although if you're going a bigger van, those under bunk ones, ours was the Truma
Sophia? Yeah,
Truma Sophia under bunk. A 19-foot van is sort of like its limit as far as the space it can cool. We're not going to do a decel in this van, but I'm going to do a whole video on that. That is coming up. So many people, we're getting more questions about that than just about anything we've ever done. I am going to do a whole dedicated video to why we're not doing a decel, whether it worked or not, But the short answer is it's fantastic. There are some considerations. We're not going to do it again, and we used it a lot more than you guys realise. A lot of people have said, oh, you hardly used it, or you had it for a bit and then you got rid of it. No, we used it a heap. We just didn't film it every time we used it. You guys probably see a day or two out of every week in general. So there is a lot of time that we used it in the background that you guys didn't see.
And the videos didn't do that well, so we stopped putting it in.
No one seemed that interested in it when we had it. It was really funny. Like, we did the install video and we did a few videos sort of explaining how it worked and stuff, and there just wasn't a whole lot of interest. And then we got rid of it, and when we sold the old van, everyone was like, oh, what about your detail? What about your detail? Tell me more about the detail. So, I don't know. Some people obviously miss some videos. I get not everyone watches every video we do and all of that. So, yeah, anyway, the shorter thing is I'm going to just put it in its own video. So those that are interested in it, there's one place to go and find it. And those that aren't, feel free to skip that video when it comes out if it doesn't interest you. But anyway.
Sorry, just on that note, if there is something you want to know more about, ask a question in the comments, because this is where we it changes what we show you.
Absolutely. So yeah, exactly. In the comments is the place to leave any questions, queries, things you want to know about the desal. Gas is another big one. We're probably going to get rid of gas again, but we aren't 100% sure on that just yet. I like a Weber. We've got to figure that out. But if we do gas, it'll be like this van, external only. That's by far the way to go in our opinion.
I can see why everyone loves like those really bright white coastal interiors, like the light timber with the white everywhere and, you know, the chevron floor. We're coming into almost 4 years in a caravan and they're all white. I'm so over it. And it's the least practical colour to have down low. And some things that I've learnt having kids and just being in a caravan is the high traffic areas should not have white in them. So, well, I'll show you what I mean. I'm really annoyed. I just cleaned half the van, but like areas like this where you're getting in and out around the bed, like under here, all these down low places, kids' handprints, footprints, white is the least practical colour to have up there. A lot of people do white uppers because it makes it feel more voluminous. I've been in a lot of vans. Every time someone parks next to us with a van that I think I might like the interior of, I just stick my head, like ask if I can stick my head in. I quite like dark uppers and I don't think it makes it look that much smaller. And the other thing I would say is in these composite vans, traditionally they come in a gloss. So you can see the roof here. It almost acts like a full mirror and it bounces and reflects light everywhere, which is really beautiful. But I'm sick of being in a white shiny box. So I want matte, I want like a moody dark cafe kind of vibe, but I want it all in like natural earthy colours. And it's an absolute nightmare to try and get that right because there's no guidebook on it. I can hardly find anything on the internet. Like I'm looking at luxury yacht builds for inspiration. I'm looking at more of the like those really pricey Mercedes-Benz, you know, Sprinter van things that they have in the US for like design inspiration. I just want to see something new and try something different, but it's so risky because if you get it wrong, oh my gosh, it could be so bad. So I'm nervous as, but let me know, what do you want to see? Or what's the best thing you've ever seen? Photos would be amazing in the comments. I don't know if you can do that. Can you do that? Can you leave photos? Links in the comments would be great. Thank you.
So I talked a lot in a previous video, I'll link it at the end of this one, about chassis coatings and stuff. This one's got this Line X chassis coating. I'm a big fan. We've only done a little bit of dirt so far, but so far it looks very resilient. I think it looks really good. I guess there's no way to tell how long it will hold up over a long period of time, but I'm going to give it a crack because I reckon it's a really cool thing. And we're probably going to do more of it on the van as well. Toolbox setup works well. I think I'll probably keep that. Stone guard, everything like that's all pretty standard. This won't change. Fridge and stuff's in there. Outdoor kitchen, this all works well. Again, this is how it comes standard, so it works pretty well. Our only pet peeve with the kitchen is that the grey water isn't plumbed to the tank in the van. There's just the grey water hose tucked up under here. You got to get it out every time you get the kitchen out and pack it up. Every time you pack the kitchen up, it might sound like we're being a bit precious about that and a bit pedantic, but the problem is these days there's just more and more campgrounds we're finding that you have to retain grey water. You can't let it go on the ground, and even places where you can, it just drains out around your feet, and it's not ideal. So that's something we're going to try and see if they can do, is plumb in the grey water would be good. That's the back-to-back cupboard that Liz was talking about before. Suspension wise, this is a big one. So this van and they come standard, the HS2, with Cruise Master ATX suspension. This one's got drum brakes. I am not a huge fan of it, to be honest. I think it's more expensive, it weighs more. I'm not actually a big fan of the rolling sleeve airbags. I think the bellow bags offer a better ride, so I'm going back to XT. So XT suspension, disc brakes, the same setup we had on our last titanium. It's just the best suspension I think out there for a caravan, and the best brakes. I think it's the best combination. So we're going to go back to that. It's going to save us a couple of grand in just downgrading it, I guess, back to that. So look, yeah, I think
weight.
Yeah, and the weight saving. We really want to get the weight down on this thing as much as we can. It's about 2780, this van. I think that'll cut about 80 kilos straight up. Just so, something like that, 50 to 80 kilos, somewhere in there. So huge weight saving, getting us back down more to that like 2.7 ton tear, which is where we really want to be, around there somewhere. So we'll see how we go with that. But yeah, suspension wise, that'll be the big change I make there. The other big change we'll make is the awning. This is a Fiamma F45 awning. We had a few people that were questioning whether it even had an awning. It's like this sort of motorhome European style awning, wind out awning that, you know, you have to get out. They're just not really up for windy conditions. Like you'll notice we've got it in now because of the amount of wind that's around. So look, if depending on what sort of style of travel again you're doing, it might suit. If you're just doing quick overnighters and you just want something really quick and easy to put out, we're going to go. We're going to try and go an electric awning that's got automatic wind sensing in it, that puts itself in and out, or puts itself in, I should say, if the wind picks up. Yeah, even the barrel style awnings, the wind picks up, they're really a two-person job to get them away safely, unless you get onto it early. So look, I've never been a fan of those barrel style awnings. I'm not a big fan of this one. So we're going to try the third different option, which is like the scissor arm style. We'll show you, but anyway, scissor arm style electric awning I think is going to be, hopefully, the best of both worlds. The rest of it I love though. I really love the composite. I love the look of it, as far as like it's a more refined, pared back sort of look. You guys would have noticed in our videos, like just not as many big decals all over it. It's just a very clean and simple looking. The rear bar comes standard. We love the rear bar, similar to the old one, just a bit narrower that we had on the old van. We're probably going to isolate a drinking water tank in this one. We've never done that before. I think that'll be handy in some situations. And we're going to do a grey water bypass, which just means that we don't always have to send our grey water to the tank and then back out again. Just saves clogging up your grey water tank a bit, because there's only sort of so many nights a year where we're using the grey water tank at all. So it just keeps it a bit cleaner and less smelly, lets it go straight to ground. So we're going to give that a try. I think that's probably not a bad idea, and it's a pretty cheap upgrade. It's not like, they're relatively cheap ones. So this front hatch, I don't know if we showed this before. No, this front hatch we keep some cleaning gear in, and like our leveling ramps and wheel chocks and stuff. And this is where the compressor's housed. So this is where your air up point and stuff is, and your valve for that. I'll show you this clip of explaining how the water fill works when we filled up recently on our trip from Bunbury. So the water fill is on the drawbar, which I really like because you can access it from either side of the van, so it doesn't matter where you're pulling water from, which is pretty handy. Now in the front box here, so we're on the opposite side to where the fridge slide and everything is where all the water system and everything is, so you can access it all from in here. So this is our water feed coming in. I've got it switched over at the moment to draw from the feed from the drawbar where it's coming in, and then it comes down through here, and I can choose which tank I want it to go to. So there's 3 110 litre tanks in this van, so 330 litres, a fair bit more than what we had in the old van. And this is where I choose which tank I want to draw from when we flick back over to the pump. Now speaking of pumps, there's 2 pumps in this van. So one is just for obsolescence, so we can choose at any time to use either of those pumps. And yeah, if we ever have a failure or anything on a pump, which I've never had, to be fair, we do have a backup pump there. And then down this side here as well is our creek pull. So if we do want to pull water from a creek, that's pre-installed, so we can just hook a hose up to there, run it down to a creek, turn this valve on, and these pumps then will draw the water from the creek, a bucket, whatever water source you want to draw from, if you don't have pressure feed. I can also, what I've been doing is just opening all 3 valves, so it fills all 3 tanks simultaneously, and then as each tank fills up and water starts coming out the breather, I can just shut it off and just work through the tanks, so I know they're all topped off. Alrighty, so then behind the water system is this big storage area. So this is pretty pretty vast, pretty significant, and this is where the washing machine lives. So little front loader here, same washing machine we had in the old van. They work pretty well, they're pretty good. The only drama with this one is, again, it drains to the ground. It doesn't go into the grey water tank, so that's something else we're going to see if titanium can change and plumb that through to the grey water system. I'm not going to unpack it all, but we've got so much crap in there at the moment that we need to get rid of because we're carrying way too much gear. Moving back, only last thing, they've got, this is locked, but that's the battery storage. So that's an isolated, that's under the rear bunk obviously, and that's an isolated sort of compartment as you have to do now for battery regulations, which is a joke, but yeah.
You're gonna wrap the windows?
Yeah, we'll get these ones wrapped in PPF to try and protect them. We're probably gonna wrap a bit more of the outside of the van too. We're still deciding what we're gonna do there, but yeah, playing around with some ideas for wraps. Speaking of wraps, I reckon that might wrap up this episode. This is the end of we're gonna say goodbye to the WA beaches. We have had an incredible almost a year exploring WA and inland, the beaches and everything in between. It's been unreal, but we're gonna miss it, but it's time to move on. It's time to go east.
It's a weird thing to say.
It is a weird thing to say. We're gonna head east. We don't even know which way we're going yet. We'll figure all that out, and that's gonna be in our next one. Who knows what's coming up next week. We've got a heap of videos we're trying to punch out for you guys before Christmas.
We're gonna do a heap of informative ones. So let us know if there's anything you really want to know about, or things that you'd like help with, especially if you are trying to set off on your lap or like organize your life, getting ready to go. Like we're here to help.
Yep.
You want to pick our brains, just ask away.
Yep, there's going to be plenty of travel content coming up, but like Liz said, a lot more. We're going to get back into doing more informative videos and just things we've learned along the way. I'm going to do a power systems one. I'm going to be doing desal. We're going to be doing like gear that we actually think you need to travel Australia, not just all this crap that gets marketed to.
Yeah, what's good marketing and what's not.
Yeah, and what actually gear that actually lasts and is worth the money. Yeah, a heap of video. What else have we got coming up?
I'd love to do an interiors.
I'm going to do a tow. I'm going to do a.
Let me know if you want one.
Yeah, Liz is going to do interiors. I'm going to do, if you want it, let us know. And yeah, I'm going to do a towing mirrors comparison. We're going to be comparing Clearviews like I had on the old Ranger with MSAs. Not sponsored by either of them. A completely unbiased review of the comparison between them, because I know for a lot of people that's a big decision to make when it comes to towing, and they're not cheap, and then neither of them are worth the money. Spoiler alert. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, this content is dictated by you guys. So if there's something that we're not telling you about or that you're interested in, the comment section below is the best place to do that. If you want more than what we give you in the videos, there's always Instagram, there's always Facebook.
And
there's
Patreon as well.
Patreon, yeah. If you want to have one-on-ones with us and jump on live calls with us, and our newsletter. Jump over to the website. You can find all the gear we use, discounts and everything, all that over there, as well as signing up to our newsletter, where we share heaps more in there. There's a lot. I'm out of breath.
Yes, this week's newsletter is coming out, and it's got like all of the camps that we've stayed at, all of the free camps, even the ones that don't make YouTube, because spoiler alert, there is a lot of camps that don't make YouTube.
So don't forget to sign up for that, and that's where we do all like giveaways and stuff as well. More giveaways coming up for the channel. Don't forget to enter that Blue Eddy giveaway. That one's a cracker. Like I said, that AC50B is a ripper little unit. We use it more than...
It's been powering the laptops for a good week and a half.
That's it for this week. We will see you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
I think it's time for